welcome our dais guests. Honoree Dr. Barbara Gannon, Principal Gannon Consult. Honoree Shelby Scales, Executive Director, Airport Minority Advisory Council. Greer Gillis, Chair of the Celebrating Women Who Moved the Nation Committee and Area Manager for the Washington, D.C. office of Parsons Breaker-Off Americas. Renee Edwards, Co-Chair of COMTO's Council of Chapter Presidents and Technical Services Administrator, Dallas Area Rapid Transit. Karen Finney, host of MSNBC's Disrupt with Karen Finney, and our Mistress of Ceremony. The Honorable Corinne Brown, U.S. Representative for Florida's 5th Congressional District, who will be joining us later. Mr. Robert Prince, COMTO National Chairman and Vice President, AECOM. Congresswoman and Honoree Eddie Bernice Johnson, who will be joining us later. Ms. Shirley DeLibero, President, DeLibero Transportation Strategies. Honoree Tracy Besselou, Vice President, Parsons Breaker-Off. Honoree Andrella Kenner, Founder and President, CI Squared Aviation, Inc. Honoree Diane Babineau, General Vice President, International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers. Honoree Jacqueline Hinman, Chief Executive Officer, CH2M Hill. Honoree Catherine Hutchins, Principal Director of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit. Honoree Karen Ray, Governor Cuomo's. Honoree Susan Kurland, Assistant Secretary for Aviation and Internal Affairs, United States Department of Transportation. Camille Hazier, Director of the Office of Civil Rights, U.S. Department of Transportation, and former Women Who Moved the Nation honoree. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, please welcome Ms. Julie Cunningham, COMTO's President and Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you. Please give her a little round of applause. Please be seated. We got a little time to make up, everyone. Extraordinary transportation professionals who just happen to be women. So, some of the best of the best. You all know that Dr. Maya Angelou, we sent out a press release yesterday that Dr. Maya Angelou was ill. We found out less than 48 hours ago that she could not be here. And so we're going to ask you to join us in keeping her in prayer. I didn't get to talk with her, but she did send me a note, and she really regrets it. You know, the thing that was really enticing for us to invite her was she was the first African-American streetcar conductor in San Francisco at the age of 16. So she was moving the nation before many of us were born. And so that's why we invited her. But I am pleased to tell you that the legendary Reverend Jesse Jackson is here. And we called him less than 48 hours ago. Unfortunately, he beat the snowstorm that's about to occur in Chicago. We got on our knees to come to the board and we dialed him up on his cell phone. He didn't answer. We started calling the staff people. We were blowing up his phone. He did finally get back to us when he got off of another flight. And I'm just so grateful that he would come and be with us and deliver the keynote at such a last minute request. So please give it up for Reverend Jackson. Real quick, we have a lot of sponsors wherever you are, all the AECOM folks. Yes, thank you so much for your support. Michael, where are you in the African team? Abner has a legislative conference here this week, and we piggyback every minute, so that if we don't have all of he's our godfather. Thank you, sir, for being here. And then last but not least, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Linda Washington. Many of you remember her when she was at the Department of Transportation as Assistant Secretary. She now is principal of the Washington team. I don't know where she is. She's been in the trenches with me and my staff on this event. She's a lead consultant. So without further ado, please enjoy the event. And again, thank you all for being here.
Vocalists in the Washington metropolitan area. The choir includes ministers of music, choir directors, soloists, and ordained ministers. We stand for the singing of our national anthem. Something for me right quick. Just look at the person beside you and tell them this. Tell them, despite what you've been through to get here, you don't look like what you've been through. That leaves you on Thursday. Go ahead and clap your hands and thank you for being smart. Let's bow our heads for a word of prayer this time.
Welcome to Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Good morning. thank you for such a kind and generous introduction. I know that you're all a bit disappointed you don't have Maya Angelou here with you today. She is such a wonderful person, so brilliant, such a keen mind, such a contributor, who always, she's the gift that keeps on giving. She's a bit under the weather today, but she means so much to us. I want us in her absence to give her a great round of applause, please. Put your hands together. I am delighted to be back with the COMTO family again today. Look forward to our challenges in the days ahead. Our Rainbow Push Convention is June 28th, July 2nd in Chicago, because it's such a hotbed of transportation. We should try to meet that, talk about plans and steps next. While we're into that, I'm now at Rev. J. Jackson, like that. Follow me on Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Facebook. Communicate that way these days. I got to notice about the meeting, was so excited about your meeting here, but was so overwhelmed with other issues. I wanted to come, but could not make it. And then Maya got ill, and Julie did her classic arm twisting, stuff, and I had to say yes, but what a joy it is to be with you today. In so many ways, while you did not get the daily headlines of some of the hot button issues of our time, probably other than the Department of Justice, is very more critical than the Department of Transportation. It drives the agenda for housing, economic development, growth, and access. We've been blessed to have a brilliant young legislator, former mayor of Charlotte, as the Secretary of the Department of Education. Big hand for Secretary Fox. Would you do it? Remember, there is an interest on exercise on the highway road. Where there is high-speed rail, there's a zone development. And just as it's a zone development, where there's an interest on exercise, there's also a zone of blockage. Because there are those who do not want a fair share of access to housing, education, and business development. This idea of a women's breakfast and this tremendous body of honorees, these special days, special occasions, for the overproductive, locked out, marginalized, unrecognized people. It may be some African American month, or some Hispanic month, or some women's month, or Labor Day. It's real saying, look out, we're over here, and we matter. So this body of women today, they matter. They've gone from degradation to supreme achievement. They are not models in the sensuous sense of the word, but in the productive world of public policy change. We take them seriously at every level, and we thank them so much for surviving against the odds. They have survived the abuse of neglect, and their absence is the crack in the Liberty Bell. Women of policy, women whose very work changes the course of our country. Our country was built on the moral fault of white male supremacy. And thus, on such a moral fault, there was no justice for women, no justice for other than white males. And this struggle in America called human rights struggle, a civil rights struggle, gender equity struggle. It's an attempt to weld that veil, to close that crack, to make this a more perfect union. It's significant to me as I thought about this last 1 or 2 hours that you gave me to be with you today, is that the Plessy versus Ferguson was about transportation. Or the issue of Rosa Parks was about access to transportation and dignity on transportation. Even in the old cowboy movies, wherever the wagon train stopped, the mule wagons, wherever the train stopped, new towns flourished. So right behind this issue of justice is access to transportation. The roles of women. It's almost absurd in some sort of argue the case, which is such an obvious case. The roles of women has been key to life itself. No women Olympians, no gold medal winners. Without the role of women in our society, we could not have achieved and which we have achieved, and the lack of achievement is that lack of women in positions they've earned and not get paid for, not respect for. In some sense, that's what Title IX is all about by law having access to every level of American society. The roles of women and blacks is this radical goal which COMTO subscribed to, the goal of an even playing field, the goal of equal opportunity, the goal of a 1-to-1 ratio. That's a radical idea to supremacists. That's a radical idea to those who want privilege over in work. The idea of a 1-to-1 ratio. No rule, I suppose, other than the rule to love your God with all your heart and might. And neighbor as yourself is more challenging than the golden rule, because we have this intense commitment to those who have the goal makes the rule. So fighting for the golden rule of 1-to-1 ratio is a key to productivity and growth. It always meets stiff resistance. We relish in the great athletic teams. I'm a bobcat, I'm a panther, I'm a bear, I'm a giant, I'm a this, I'm a that. Why is it that blacks, Latinos do so well on the athletic field? To be one of the top basketball players in the world, one of the top baseball players in the world, one of the top football players in the whole world, be one of the top track stars in the whole world. That's not an elite company. Fastest in the world, come in number 3 in the world track, or win the big game. What allows those who come from such brokenness, often such poverty-stricken conditions, broken lives, broken homes, broken families, broken opportunities. What allows people from those zones of deprivation to do so well on the athletic field, which really is COMTO's goal? Whenever the playing field is even and the rules are public and the goals are clear, the referees are fair, and the score is transparent, we do well. It is when the field is uneven, the rules are closeted, referees are unfair, goes unclear, scores behind closed doors, we don't do so well. So the very idea of fighting for an even playing field is a radical proposition because it goes to the root of things. Because what it says that in the day's scheme that we struggle against effort, and excellence means a lot. Inheritance and access means more. So we fight to make effort and excellence the rule of our time. Our goals are lofty, and yet the land of the free and home of the brave is too often missed because of the wretched history of supremacy, slavery, and manipulation, and denying people that which they have achieved. You will achieve today. You are, by definition, you are odds busters and dream makers. You busted the odds. And you dream against, and you made it anyhow. And we thank and congratulate you today. We are not surprised at your success. We're delighted. To be surprised would be presumptuous and would not be fair. We are delighted, not surprised. But we do know as America's best days are ahead if women have their rightful place in the scheme of things. We did not know how good baseball could be until everybody could play. We don't know how good America can be until everybody can play. Let women play for a better America. Now, through the years, we've seen this unending drive of partnership that makes us great. We speak so much in glowing terms of Moses and the Bible. The genocide, notice what happened. When all the firstborn babies were being killed, Moses' mother said, "Not my baby. I'm going to tell God all about it." And she got that right creative. She said, I know where Pharaoh's daughter bathes. I know beneath the rubies and the pearls and the various forms of flattering dress, a woman is a woman. I don't think she can see my baby in her nakedness and drown that baby. She began to think. She figured out a way to make her a bulrush, the Bible suggests, and had the daughter overlook the flow of the waters, and then to get hung up, cut it loose and let it float to where she had a choice between drowning Moses and challenging her daddy. Moses, Pharaoh's daughter, salvaged that baby. And then the question would become, what do you do with the baby? How do you raise this quote-unquote alien child in Pharaoh's house? I want to knock on the door and say, I'll be the babysitter for free, was Moses' mother. Women thinking creatively. No less than Esther, facing the same basic challenges. The protocol of having a job without dignity, a job where you choose your mission over your people. And their first response, when the genocide notice went out, was to say to my uncle, I really can't break protocol, even to save my people. That was a political response. Uncle reminded her that you didn't get here because you were really so pretty, you got here because you've been sent here by God. You are there because you've been blessed to be here. You've been blessed to live long enough, blessed to go to a school, blessed to have parents who put it all on the line to get you where you are today. And so when she thought about it beyond the fantasy of her own beauty contest, she said, well, if I perish, let me perish, but I'm going to tell you. It is that sense of something special that makes us honor his beloved sisters today. Nor can I separate the sheer genius of President Barack Obama from Michelle. So grounded, so rooted, trained Princeton lawyer, I was blessed to watch her and my daughter group together as classmates in Chicago, to watch her develop and blossom as such a brilliant young lawyer and administrator, to bring the proper balance and to come into the White House, not for some typical projects called First Aid, but a project to save veterans and spouses from the hurt of their husbands and wives, develop health care programs for our women. We've not had a First Lady that's more qualified, with more stature and more dignity than Michelle Obama. We must never take that for granted. Always appreciate it. It's not like just to say no to those. She has preparation for the big job. And ultimately, it's about family. It's about setting these records straight. Reverend Frederick Douglass, who's earned his place years, and Harriet Tubman, and this is the truth. The 14 Jim Quick was a Linda Brown, holding her father's hand, facing the resistance in Kansas. Reverend Dr. King, there's some Rosa Parks on one side, and there's some Daisy Bates on the other, and some Fannie Lou Hamer. We give John Lewis much credit for marching across the bridge in Selma, Alabama, 49 years ago this past Sunday. Mrs. Amelia Barton, who's still alive, by the way, she's blessed to be alive next year. Please have her. She's 102 years old. She wrote a letter to Dr. King from Dallas County and made the case why he should come to Selma, Alabama. She too was beating that son on the bridge, Miss Amelia Barton. She was a friend of Booker T. Washington and his wife. Her husband in the insurance business in Selma, Alabama, Mrs. Amelia Barton. So if there is a Selma Jones beating, it was at the invitation of Mrs. Amelia Barton. She deserves her place in the scheme of things. After all, Rosa Parks did not sit down because she had tired feet and corns and hurt and all the stereotypes, and she was weird and looking pitiful. She was a freedom fighter. She ended up as a CBO organizer. She knew Josephine Davis. She knew Evelyn Randolph. She knew the Pullman Borders. She worked with the black men teaching literacy. And after the 54 decision was passed, she met with Attorney Fred Gray every day. How can we validate and test the 54 decision? She meant to sit down. She meant to go to jail. She meant to face the challenge. She meant to take the hit. I asked her one time, I said, Mrs. Parks, you know, all us had tried when they put on up the bus, you could have been injured in addition to being in jail. She said, I thought about going to the back, but I thought about every till I couldn't go back. So if there is a Martin King, there is a Rosa Parks. And then we further tested in Little Rock in 1957. Children led to Martin by Daisy Bates, a journalist. There's a Carl Lewis as a Wilma Rudolph. From Julio to Rhode Island. There's a book of Washington that is American Composition as a heart attack. So we affirm these persons, these unread, because we're trying to heal or well the crack in the middle there. You already here, just unrecognized, overworked, underpaid. Now we're facing global competition. We globalized capital. We globalized technology. We will not globalize women's rights. That's why a group of women here can get undermined by a group of women in sex trade or a group of women in Bangladesh just a few hours away. We must not globalize workers' rights, and women's rights, and children's rights, environmental security, to make this a more complete circle, to make this a more perfect union, led fundamentally by women who are being exploited today. From degradation, the young beauty queens who have done the heavy It's degrading to just talk about women's rights among women. Women have done the heavy lifting all of us up. Everybody. It's about family rights, driven by the Catholic determination so often of women. 50 years after the Civil Rights Act of 1963, we're free but not equal. We look at the big issue of our time. That's why this conference, I say, is central to popular justice. Because when President Obama began our drive for health care for every American, around that time, by people other than mean, despicable, very ugly language, who were for affordable health care but against Obamacare. It's like having an omelet without the eggs. You know that's stupid. What we do know is that 6 years later, our troops are out of Iraq, we know that. Should have been in the first place. No more business in Iraq than Putin has in Crimea. Except we lost more Americans in the process. We do know that 6 years later, GM was on the bottom and on the top again and paid the money back. We do know that more Americans have health care than who would have been dead. Some are paying a few more pennies, those are saving a few more lives. What we do know is that against great odds, progress is being made. Maybe the most devastating blow to this presidency has been the one that didn't get the most headlines. It is stopping fast rail. The governor of Florida was nasty enough to say, I don't want fast rail down my interstate because it'll have Barack Obama's name on it as a government project. Gave back billions of dollars and thousands of dollars and drove up. Governor Walker took the same position, Wisconsin took the same position. You can connect to Milwaukee and Madison, Chicago. And he ended up 55% unemployment in Milwaukee. Some of them won't match reference to means open housing. Well, that is rail and jobs as integration of housing and schools and opportunity. So in many ways, as we roll and fly, we make a more perfect union. So we lost thousands of jobs. Well, there's a rail, Americans in Birmingham and Gary and Pittsburgh can make the steel. We can make the railroad. There's a brother named Brother Clark who makes railroads. There's nothing we cannot do. So we ride into the future, or we stop, and we cannot stop. We must revive the fight for fast rail. You connect Birmingham and Montgomery with Atlanta, a whole world of us. What do you hear about myself? You connect Chicago and St. Louis and Des Moines, a whole world of us, based upon access to rail. It's cost efficient, energy efficient, job creating, economic development. That's why you're at the center of America's future. And see, women are so prominent in that drive is a source of joy to me. You bear the pain. We've seen the impact of home folks was targeting women and women of color. The lawsuits prove that they targeted women, that people of color took their homes and drove property. We got the banks, not the lending or the reinvestment, left people trapped in poverty. Now, Wall Street is a Washington capital, while neighborhoods like Detroit and Birmingham are now facing bankruptcy. Remember the body of those spikes? Just read something out there about Silicon Valley, the new driving engine. Apple, 8 board members, 7 white men, 1 Asian woman. HP, 10 board members, 7 white men, 3 white women. Google, 11 board members, 8 white men, 3 white women. eBay, 15 white males, 1 white woman, and 1 Asian male. That's unacceptable. That's the pattern of segregation as pronounced as cotton tobacco was 100 years ago. And yet these guys don't wear ties with their shirts out looking cool. This absolute segregation. Women must fight for gender equality in Silicon Valley. And they not drive the road to the net in forms of bad social media. That's where they know the frontier. The gap between wealth and poverty. Now to this issue of the right to vote. There is no right more fundamental than the right to vote. I asked at a meeting in New York during Super Bowl weekend in New York, the right to say, why are you here beside the game? So why are you so active? I said, because I'm just looking at the civil rights dimension of the Super Bowl. Just what does civil rights have to do with the Super Bowl? I said everything. It's foundation. You could not have the Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons behind the cotton curtain. Think about it. You couldn't have had the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans behind the cotton curtain. You couldn't have had the Olympics in New Orleans or Miami behind the cotton curtain. You couldn't have had the big Alabama LSU game behind the cotton curtain. If we had not prevailed, if the global and the Reagan had been illegal to sit together or play together, we drove in the industry. You couldn't have all the industry in the New South had the cotton curtain not come down. So all these new stadia, ball teams, athletics and academics and research and transportation and new railway can come. It's all driven by the civil rights struggle. We're not in the margins of the struggle to make America better. No southern governor can say he did a thing to make it happen. They're trying to block the new Georgia Tech game with access. They're trying to block access to black students at the University of Alabama and LSU and get famous in demagogy. It was our struggle that made the New South and made America more better than a great nation, driven by women in the main, who took us to the jails and stayed there with us. Now the right to vote. Last time we got the right to vote in 1965, it's not all together true. Black students vote in the South. It's voting on the state's rights. The state chose to discriminate based upon race and gender. So blacks did not vote, but guess what? White women conservative jurors in 1967. We don't know white women judges in the South, off the Supreme Court. 18-year-olds could not vote, no certainly in Vietnam. You couldn't vote on college campuses, except to go home and vote absentee, which was the terrorists. You couldn't vote bilingually to 1975, all that stuff out of Alabama. You couldn't vote proportionally until 1988. We fought in 88 to democratize democracy in a scheme called winner take all. I was in 84, I got far more popular votes than delegates. There's something that does not smell right about this. I get 49%, somebody get 50.1%, they get all my delegates, it's just first in their participation. So we fought to democratize democracy. So about 2008, President Barack ran against Sister Hillary, and she barely won California and Ohio and Texas and Pennsylvania. On the winner take all, she would have been the winner, but we democratized democracy. And everybody counted, and he won. Because we struggled to make Mrs. Boynton and the foundation helps to make it happen. When women stand up and fight back, the whole world changes. Then we stand not just to fix a bad Voting Rights Act, we stand to amend the Constitution. If you can have an amendment to the Constitution to ban a gun, why not the right to vote? You mean states should have the right to control the process? We have 50 state elections on election day, meaning the state in Florida can cut the time to vote. And so President Bush, the lose wins and the winner loses because the state stopped the count and left 27,000 votes uncounted, and the winner got 557 vote margin. You mean to say that you can have wet people and dry machines in Ohio, You mean in all the money you can close voting precincts on campuses? We deserve the right or a fundamental right to vote for all Americans, not the states' rights. These are the fights of our time. Last and sisters, it's a great struggle. It's that will to fight beyond the power of economics. And consumer power does matter. Beyond the power of votes, and votes do matter. Beyond the power of marching feet, and marching does matter. There's something called faith. Somebody says it's the substance of things hope for this faith thing, this little look around the corner before you get to the curve, this faith thing. It's my grandmother who believed to read and not write. Had the ambition to watch her son walk across the graduation stage, just that something. Who wore shoes trying to bend over through the weekend, whereas a stocking, not because she didn't know how to dress, but she wanted my brother to have socks and match when they left at school. That special something. When she couldn't either read nor write, but brought home the Ford Son's books she threw away. That's how I read Life magazine and National Geographic. She took their books to the garbage can and brought them home. That special quality of something called faith. Keep that something. Let nothing break your spirit. It gets dark every now and then, but the morning comes. The Lord is our light, and our salvation moves from the fear. It gets dangerous. And somebody say, "You don't walk through the valleys and shadows of death, I fear." No, you because down with me is that special something called faith. It means you study a little harder. You feel you're not smart. It means you step a little longer, you're a little more determined because the Lord is with you. Whenever you feel that special something, fire cannot burn it. Water cannot drown it. Holes are not deep enough to contain it. You're here today because of that special something. Keep hope alive. Keep your faith sustained. God bless you, COMTO.
Program, and I have the honor of announcing the COMTO honoree for legislator. And the person we are going to honor today is the Honorable Eddie Bernice Johnson, Congresswoman from the 30th District in Texas. She's here with us. Congresswoman, I have a couple questions I want to ask you. I don't wish to disrupt that, I promise. You've shared and served as ranking member on Water Resources Subcommittee and as a senior member of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. I think there's a lot of things that people don't know about what that committee does in terms of setting national policy, and this audience would be really interested in hearing about. Can you just tell us a little things we may not know about what we're doing?
Well, this subcommittee takes care of everything that has to do with water. Everything that moves on water, quality of water, the environment as it relates to water. So, and right now we are in conference on the Water Bill, which is the Water Resources Development Act, which takes care of ports and everything to do with transportation and water. It's one of the largest bills that we'll take care of. We have former secretaries sitting out there at the first table that we worked with when we had the last reauthorization. As a matter of fact, the last reauthorization was in 2007. And then we're supposed to have on every term
Even during the Bush administration, his own administration indicated that we need to put $19 billion every term, that is every 2 years, in the water infrastructure in the country. Well, that particular year was the first time we've been able to get one since year 2000, which was in the last administration. And he sent the bill back when we put 17 million and saying it was not enough. Well, we sent the bill back. At that time, we were a majority, and I was chairing the subcommittee. And I must tell you that he vetoed the bill, and that's the only override he got during his presidency, because of the need that we really had in the country that we continue to have now. And this is the first time we've reached the point of being in a conference committee now with water resources. As you know, the world is short of water, and certainly the United States is. We have a growing population, and we have more trade, we have more ports, we have more concern about the quality of the water throughout the nation. So this committee has the jurisdiction to take care of all of those particular areas as it relates to water policy.
Anything else you want to share with us today?
Well, thank you. I want to say that I just returned yesterday from Brussels to the conference. It was a World Conference on Innovation. And the United States had a shortage of people participating. However, I must say that everyone that I spoke to is very aware of why. Because of where we are in policy and attitudes within our Congress right now. And so, and I don't want to be political, but I want to say that improvements will only come with improvements at the election times. We've had a very difficult time since 2010. The United States is lagging behind where we should be in practically every area. And so we know that transportation is one of the most important areas that we can ever address. If we don't move people and goods, we have no economy. And we must make sure that all areas of transportation is moving. Now, and I'll say as I close these remarks, when women win, America wins. When women vote, America wins. So I want to applaud the organization for giving recognition to the Women's Recognition Time during this time, and to say, as I look out on all these friends of ours that are male, to remember to push the women ahead, because when they win, America wins.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Heather Foster, Director of White House Office of Public Engagement.
Well, good morning, everyone. How are you? Good morning. It's an honor to join you today for this wonderful event, really hearing from Jackson and so many others on the importance of transportation, but also being able to just celebrate Women's History Month. My name is Heather Foster. I'm an advisor in the White House Office of Public Engagement, and so I sit on a team that advises President Obama on all of his engagement events with the public, but then also we work with groups like COMTO to engage them on policy priorities. This year, you've probably heard from President Obama about this theme around opportunity for all. And through this theme, President Obama has really stressed the importance of making sure that everyone has access, making sure that everyone has a place at the table, and even when we see some roadblocks, he's going to take this pen and telephone and pen kind of theme this year. So we'll be picking up the phone a lot, making phone calls, also using his executive power to really bring people to the table. And today I wanted to just give you a quick example of something that he created a few weeks ago that really is an example of this pen theme action that we're doing this year. And what it means is that the president launched on February 27th, My Brother's Keeper. And I had the opportunity to sit on great team of people who really thought about this for quite some time. Last summer, when we saw events like Trayvon Martin's case come unfold in front of the entire public, we saw the response. President Obama gave some remarks. But then we also saw other things. When we saw President Obama sit down with young men of color across the country, there really seemed to be a need for something else. And so that's exactly what we'll be doing this year. We launched My Brother's Keeper with the effort of thinking about how do we provide lives of opportunity for young men of color across this country. So the launch of the My Brother's Keeper does two things. One, President Obama assigned an interagency task force. Secretary Fox is one of the members of this task force that will be looking closely at what they can do across the board in agencies, what type of programs are available that really benefit young people of color across this country. That task force will meet regularly. The second thing that he called was having foundations and private sector organizations come together to really look at what are some solutions. So for the next 90 days, they'll be looking at what's possible in terms of really providing some solutions for our young men of color in 5 different areas. So it won't just be focused on one area like education, but really looking across the board, what are we doing around the economy that helps young men of color? What are we doing in our school system? What are we doing in terms of opportunity and access in neighborhoods? And to be quite frank, a lot of these things are apparent through all of the initiatives in the administration. From healthcare to what we've been doing to address long-term unemployment, to really what we've been doing around minimum wage and overtime over the next couple of weeks. It's this constant theme of thinking about how do we create more opportunity for individuals in this country. Because when people have opportunity, we have a successful country. We heard from Reverend Jackson earlier today and really talking about how impactful the civil rights movement was for this country and how it also impacted women's rights. And I think it's really important as we look back all the time to really think about how we moved as a nation, but how are we continuing to move? Organizations like COMTO really help us. They push to the forefront. I know Julie Cunningham is a fierce advocate for the organization all the time in DC, really pushing the issues that are so critical for the transportation community. And so with that reminder, I really think that it's important that we realize working together, we're going to create more opportunity for all in this country. Thank you.
Johnson Gillis, Chair of the Celebrating Women Who Move the Nation Committee, and Area Manager for Parsons Breaker Hall.
Good morning, COMTO. Good morning. Okay, let's do this again. We just had Reverend Jackson give us a stern speech. Good morning, COMTO. Good morning. Welcome again to our 3rd annual Celebrating Women Who Move the Nation Awards event. We are so happy, excited, privileged to have all of you here. I have the double honor not only of serving as chair of this event, but I also serve as the vice president for the Metropolitan Washington COMTO chapter. On behalf of all of us here at COMTO, we welcome you to this event and we thank you so very much for being here. We are here to honor 10 amazing, extraordinary, phenomenal, inspiring women who have moved the nation in terms of the transportation industry. They have advocated so much on our behalf today, in the past, and in the future. And we wanted to take this opportunity as a part of Women's History Month to celebrate their accomplishments. We feel that these women represent all of what COMTO embodies, their strength, their character, their commitment to our industry. And so we honor them today for all that they have done and all that they will do. Before I go on, I do not share this podium alone. There is a wonderful group of people, steering committee, that we have worked for the past 6 months together to bring this event to you. And I want to take this opportunity to recognize them for their contributions. So members of the Celebrating Women Awards Committee, please stand when I call your name. Renee Edwards, Shauna Watley, Brad Mills, Mariah Stanley, Deborah Carter, Janet Walker, Stephanie Pinson, and Christian Kent. Thank you all very much.
I'd like to present to you our COMTO's 2014 Celebrating Women Who Moved the Nation honorees. Thank you.
COMTO, celebrating women who move the nation. To 10 extraordinary women for making a difference in the transportation industry. These women are senior leaders in the industry. Their professional achievements and pioneering spirit have opened career paths for women across the country and set an excellent example for generations to come. From policymakers to high-powered executives, these 10 women are among transportation's most influential players and represent a full cross-section of the industry, including academia, advocacy, aviation, labor, legislation, the private sector, public transportation, state government, and the federal government. Presenting COMTO's 2014 Celebrating Women Who Move the Nation honorees. Academia honoree, Barbara K. Gannon, Principal, Gannon Consult. Advocacy honoree, Shelby Scales, Executive Director of the Airport Minority Advisory Council. Aviation honoree, Andrew Kenner, Founder and President of CI Sport Aviation Incorporated. Labor honoree, Diane Babineau, Chairman Vice President of the Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers. Legislative honoree, the Honorable Eddie Bernice Johnson, the Congresswoman representing the 30th District of Texas. Private industry honoree, Jacqueline Hinman, the incoming Chief Executive Officer of CH2M Hill. Public transportation honoree, Catherine M. Hodgins, Principal Director of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority Board. State Government honoree, Karen Ray, Governor Cuomo's Deputy Secretary for Transportation. U.S. Government honoree, Susan Kurland, Assistant Secretary for Aviation and International Affairs, United States Department of Transportation. The Shirley Libero, COMTO Woman Who Moves the Nation Award is presented each year to a visionary pioneer who made a significant impact on the transportation industry. This year, the Shirley Libero, COMTO Woman Who Moves the Nation honoree is presented by Vice President of Processes Liberhoff. Ms. President is an extraordinary executive human resource professional with a proven track record of success in the areas of performance improvement, talent and change management, executive development, and diversity strategies. Furthermore, she plays a critical role in COMTO's National Scholars Committee. Please join COMTO as we celebrate these phenomenal women who are indeed moving our nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Linnell Lightfoot Stewart, a gifted singer who has toured all over the world with gospel praise.
I know.
Women
2014 Celebrating Women Who Move the Nation honorees. The following COMTO board members will present the awards. COMTO National Chair, Robert Prince. COMTO First Vice Chair, Warren Montague. COMTO Second Vice Chair, Lester Woods. COMTO Member at Large, John Lewis. Please welcome Ms. Renee Edwards, co-chair of COMTO's Council of Chapter Presidents and Technical Services Administrator for the Dallas Area Rapid Transit.
Good morning. I don't sing, but I am a woman. It's indeed a delight to be here with all of you this morning as we celebrate the achievements of 10 outstanding women who move the nation. I am here to introduce the MC, Karen Finney. Karen is the host of MSNBC's Disrupt with Karen Finney. She is Ms. Karen Finney.
I'm actually going to go take a seat over there and not say too much because I know you really want to hear from these fabulous women. So I want to get your rights back because I want to hear from these fabulous women. Okay. We start off with COMTO honoree for academia, Dr. Barbara Gannon, Principal Gannon Consults. So we're here. So congratulations, Dr. Gannon. So as you saw, we're going to do this a little bit different than it's been done in the past. I have just a short question for you, I promise. So the focus of your career has been as a leader, a transit operations manager, transit general manager, and currently as a professional development and leadership consultant. So leadership obviously is a critical element for women. What is the key to your leadership strategy, and what would you say to women in the industry to help them prepare for leadership roles?
I think that in simplest terms, we all did not get here on our own. We are here because of the influence of others. It's interesting to me, Howard Gardner, who is a scholar at Harvard, talked about his blessed influences. He thinks of the people that with whom he's worked as his blessed influences. And I also think of our invisible committees, those people who are behind us and support us quietly, our families and our colleagues. And I also think of the Greek chorus who is behind us, you know, those curmudgeons and those contrarians and those people who push us and guide us along the way. We don't get here on our own, none of us do, and I think if each person in this audience looks around the room, they would certainly see who their blessed influences are. I also think that it is our role to treat people well. I think we're measured on how we treat people, whether those people are the people who are serving us at this banquet or the people who we walk past in the airports. They are the people who very invisibly walk through their lives and serve us and often are invisible. So it is those quiet conversations we can have with those people that are very important. I'm interested as I look around the room. I think that we all physically move this great nation, physically, but we also move each other with our stories and our conversations, and it is the time that we can stop to have a conversation with someone, to form a coalition or a partnership that really makes the work easier and a lot more interesting. COMTO really understands how to honor people, and I am truly honored to be recognized with these wonderful women, and I am really truly moved, so thank you.
Okay, our next honoree, the COMTO Honorary Executive Director, Airport Minority Advisory Council. effectively doing business in the airport industry?
Another question, thank you. First of all, I think I would like to say thank you to everyone in the audience and certainly COMTO, but especially I share this award also with what I call Team Shelby and Team AMAC over here. You just wave at everyone in the audience. Team Shelby, Team AMAC. Thank you. In this role, I bring experience as a program administrator from a previous job with the airport. I think what's been most successful for me in advocating and mentoring our businesses, whether they're women or minorities, is really, as I speech earlier, advocating through relationships, through collaborations, but also having these types of intimate conversations with decision makers. This role has allowed me to really sit down with airport directors, with CEOs of major corporations, and really to listen and understand from those stakeholders what are the barriers to participation. Is it bonding? Is it access to capital? Is it businesses that are simply not ready to do business? And if so, how can we wrap our arms around them collectively in order to bring them into the business setting ready, capable, and willing to do the work? So I just applaud all of the folks that have reached out to me as a leader within the aviation industry, but also within the organization, to really sit down and creatively think about how we can solve the barriers to participation. And I have a couple businesses in the audience. I know Creative Solutions on the insurance side, risk management, Arthur Lewis with Next Generation software programs for the transportation industry. Really just listening to them to determine what has been some of those barriers to get in front of these decision makers, and then using my platform, if you will, to sit down with the directors, sit down with the major proms and concessionaires to really kind of make that bridge come together and facilitate that process. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Is Andrella Kenner, founder and president, CI2, sorry, Aviation Inc. Congratulations. So you're the founder and president of the nation's only small and disadvantaged business enterprise, which manages airport traffic control towers. And I'm curious to know, or I think we would like to know about some of the obstacles that you may have encountered that you overcame for your success.
Thank you. I would like to congratulate all of the honorees, and I'm excited about being here. And first, before I can answer that question, I have to tell you a little bit about me. I wanted to thank my mother, who's there today, there in the audience. Because of her and my father, who afforded me the ability to go be the first in my family to go to college, the first to go to graduate school, and the first to go into business. So I had this driven ability to want to try. And I was very fortunate to have some of the most outstanding partnerships I've ever had. RVA, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, and DOT, and so many others that were my mentors. With that in mind, I have one of the most outstanding organizations. My son is taking the helm as we plan our legacy. But the 21 years in business, I'm thankful to say that we have been 0 fatalities due to controller error for the last 14 and a half years. And that is something amazing in itself with the industry as it is today. So I would like to thank the organization, and that comes from just working with all the people that work for the organization that have been so outstanding. My niece, Deborah Anthony, is here today, my sister, and so many close friends. So it's all the partnerships, the friendships, and it's by the grace of God that we've been so successful. So,
thank you. Congratulations. Okay. The COMTO honoree for labor is Diane Babineau, General Vice President, International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers. workers. You're in a leadership role in one of the largest labor organizations. So what is one piece of advice, or I'll say a piece of advice, because there's probably more than one that you would mention, that you would give to women who want to excel in a male-dominated environment that is labor?
First, grow within the organization. Remember, the faith, as Reverend Jackson said, brings us a lot into the picture. But always kind of remember what you're there for. So since to be the leadership role, you're not going to try to mentor and bring other women along. And I don't care what industry you're in, we women are always rolling into certain conditions and different things when we walk into rooms, and we're the only ones. With our upbringing and our strong will to say, we're going to make this work. We know how to adapt. Like, I came out to it because I'm left-handed, so. But as leaders, we always know how to adapt. We know how to work with, I'm not going to do this, I'm doing it that way. But like you said, being in a union that started out with 19 white men in Atlanta 125 years. Yeah. So when you start to grow and move up in your position, you don't always think about, okay, I'm the first. You always say, yes, I'm the first. But I intend to bring more women and men along. Because regardless of where you're going, sometimes men that also help to admit you. They bring you, and they see something that you don't see in yourself. So always remember, don't always say, I know it all, because we always learn. And what you learn, you go out and teach it to others. That's what you do in an organization. That's the first. And always say you're not last. Thank you.
For women, we make it work. All right. COMTO honoree for private sector is Jacqueline Hinman, CEO of CH2M Hill. Congratulations. So, supporting young women in STEM education is obviously a priority and is a priority for the country's future, obviously. As the CEO of a global engineering firm and also a registered engineer, how are you and your company encouraging the pursuit of education?
And experience the smallest wage gap relative to men. Now, there should be no wage gap relative to men, but we're going to try to sort matters. So at the top, every year I take on a mentee. This year, for the next month, leading me leading her, working together to mentor in terms of leading a technical company. Without Borders that we fund a fair amount and is run by a woman. We also support women in STEM programs. And hundreds of schools from K through 12 through college, including numerous scholarships with a particular. I have to worry about this internally, right? So having a really simple goal, quite simply, I want my do around that. That is still an industry-leading statistic as far as I can tell, but we have about 2,000 women right now in our Women's Networks leadership and mentoring programs. We differentially invest in leadership mentoring training for our own women.
COMTO honoree for public transportation is Catherine Hudgens, Principal Director of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority Board. Congratulations. So, throughout your career in public service, you've been a champion of inclusiveness on such vital community issues as transportation, housing, disability, and affordable housing. You've acted on behalf of many underrepresented constituencies to ensure fairness and equality for all. How have you been instrumental, though, in influencing others to embrace that value?
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here, first of all. I start with one very important point. My parents were raised 8 children, and they struggled to do so. But the most important thing about them is that they were engaged in their community all the time. And I think engagement is building trust and empowering. And it is for the individual, but it's also for the people that you work with. And so as an elected official, it's very important for me to think about how do I engage my community to help them embrace the kind of values that policymakers make for them every day. As I advocate for affordable housing, I'm advocating for a community that's like the community I live in, that there is a mixed income there. And when I'm advocating for transportation, I'm a member of a Armada board, I'm advocating for my community as well as demonstrating that I'm participating in that. I ride the bus, I ride the train. These are things that I think are critical in building the community. The President talks about sustainability in communities. Reverend Jackson really referenced it today, that it's so important that we are able to empower people in order to be able to share in what all of us have. And so in my role every day, I am looking to engage and to empower people. I'll take this recent example. As policy development, we do land use and we develop communities. We are the most powerful ones, I think, that actually exist, that we decide how land will be used and who will live there and where they will work. We're part of a slate of redevelopment in the community, in which the housing that we're looking at, of redeveloping that space, is really affordable housing. And a group of constituents came to me concerned that this is going to displace us, and that they wanted to hear my concerns, hear their concerns. In doing so, it was very important to hear them, but also to affirm to them that we were not going to displace them. As parents talked about the fear that they were going to lose the school that their children were attending, that they are going to lose the opportunity to be close to the jobs that they already had. So we talked about it, and we really had to work with them to let them know that no, that was not going to happen, but that you need to be a voice at this table all the time. Well, the good news about it is it won't happen, and that they will have something else that I think is equally as powerful. A community that's sustainable, that has housing of all diversities there, that has transportation available to them, and has jobs right at their door. And those are the things that are so important in which you can empower people to speak not only through their legislators, but through themselves. So it's a wonderful opportunity to reach out and develop that kind of community. And I want to thank those here who are in transportation because it's such a critical role that it's played.
Thank you so much. The COMTO honoree for state government is Karen Ray, and she is Governor Cuomo's Deputy Transportation. I screwed that name up. I'm really in trouble, huh? Well, congratulations. So public service, I know, has been the cornerstone of your career, from gubernatorial appointments to presidential appointments, and you've been at the forefront of some of the country's major initiatives: high-speed rail, public-private partnerships, infrastructure alternative delivery. And as Governor Cuomo's Deputy Secretary for Transportation, what do you see as the major challenge in our industry, and how can women, all of us really, be at the forefront of solving some of those challenges?
Well, first of all, I really want to thank everybody. It's such an honor to be here with folks that helped me get here. I think we heard this earlier, and with my fellow honorees. I think there's a few things that we just can't do without. Number one is the people part. We can't get here, we can't do what we do, we can't survive the challenges we face every day if we don't have folks around to make us sometimes get a hand on our shoulder when we want to cry, and we shouldn't. Sometimes to make us laugh, those are the most valuable people, and always to be there to support and help us move forward. So I think after 35 years, it's really important to note how important that is. But I think the other two things are passion. I don't believe we could do what we do day in and day out, and we can make these changes if we don't believe that they really matter. And someone once asked, what's your biggest strength and what's your biggest weakness? And in most cases, it's my passion. And I think you have to carry that. I know people in this room that have that same passion, and without it, we really can't accomplish things. I think the other piece that's the toughest is embracing change. I've moved around a lot, so I've had no choice but to embrace change and understand that I can be part of that. I think it's sometimes tougher when you're in the same job for a while to make sure that you're constantly embracing change. Things are changing, the world is changing, I am very proud of the one project we're working on now, redesigning a way to deliver a mega project in 2 years being under construction, a $4 billion bridge. Everybody said it couldn't be done. Guess what? If you embrace change and everybody on the team embraces change, it can be done. So I think at the end of the day, that all matters, and at the end of the day, a balance with family. I'm most proud of all of my daughter, who now, as she's grown up, you hear her asking questions, and you realize, oh my gosh, they were listening. Thank you.
Okay. The COMTO honoree for U.S. Government is Susan Curlin, Assistant Secretary for Aviation and International Affairs at the United States Department of Transportation. Congratulations, Assistant Secretary. So, as you served at highest levels of government in both the Obama and the Clinton administrations, what advice would you give women who are interested in having significant public policy roles, particularly as you think about your service at the FAA and the Department of Transportation?
Thank you. Before I answer your question, I want to thank COMTO and I want to thank Julie Cunningham for this wonderful honor, and to say how deeply proud and honored I am to be part of this great group of women. And getting to your question, you know, I think it is very important to emphasize that there are many ways to serve. I mean, all you have to do is look at all the women up here who are being honored, and many of the women who are sitting in the audience. And whether you are at the local level, state level, or the federal level, there are many important policy conversations and decisions that need to be made. So whether you are an employee, an appointee, you're volunteering on a board or a commission, or you're providing a for-profit service to a government, be involved, be passionate. Also join organizations such as COMTO, because you want to be part of the conversation. You want to become an expert in your field. You want to be the kind of person that when questions arise or a panel is being put together, or the important discussion of the important issues of our day are being discussed, you want your voice to be heard. Don't be shy. Stand up. Ask to be considered. It may not always work, but if you don't ask, you don't get. And next, you want to bring others along with you. I've heard all my colleagues say this here. We all got here by standing on other people's shoulders, so be kind and generous with your own time, be helpful. And one thing I always ask when I have an opportunity to speak at events like this is make your own commitment. What will you personally do in order to advance women in transportation? Because we all can make a difference. And again, I want to thank you for this wonderful opportunity and honor. Thank you.
All right, well, you all know this next person as the Queen of Transit. Shirley A. DeLibero has a long-standing and stellar career in public transportation. As a tribute to Ms. DeLibero, the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials instituted the Shirley DeLibero Woman Who Moves the Nation Award. I hope she will join me. So as I mentioned, you're known as the Queen of Transit, and undoubtedly a woman who has I don't see that pardon to me. But undoubtedly you're a woman who continues to move this nation, and you served as the CEO of the New Jersey Transit and Houston Metro. You were actually the catalyst to build the beautiful rail system in Houston. You have been a COMTO member for over 35 years. And the next honoree receiving the Shirley DeLibero Award, which is one of the highest awards that COMTO gives. All the women who we honor today have achieved much and are very successful. What words of wisdom, though, would you offer such an esteemed group of women to encourage them to reach even higher goals?
First, I want to congratulate all these great women. When I look back at my career, I have had a very successful career. Worked hard, but you know, I have a building named after me. You usually have to die to get that. But I have a building named after me. And I think what I'd like to tell these women is my success was all about people. I was very fortunate to have very good staff. My style of management is to manage by wandering around. That's what I would tell all you women to do. People love to see you out and about when they're doing their jobs. I also think that, my philosophy has always been you take care of the people, they'll take care of the product. That's worked for me. I remember when I first started in this business, I knew the people would be what I needed to do. They make you look good. I mean, we all can think, I've had a great career. We didn't do it by ourselves. It was the people that we hired. The other thing I tell these women, and this takes a lot of confidence, when you're picking a team, hire to your weakness and not your strength. I'll tell you that my success has been, I have hired people who know much more than me, but guess what? I learned. The other thing I'd like to tell everybody, never forget from where you came. We are at this level right now, but even today, I constantly mentor. You need to get back, you need to look at where you are and reach back and get somebody and help them. And women do that very well, and we need to continue doing that. So, to all of you, congratulations, and to you, very nice meeting you. I've seen you on TV, but thank you.
With this award, so she's going to go just over here, and I'm going to go back over here for a little dance that we're doing all day. So the Shirley Rivera Award is presented, the Woman Who Moves the Nation Award, to Ms. Tracy Bassano, Vice President, Parsons Protocol. Okay, so you are passionate about affecting change in disadvantaged communities and expanding opportunities for diverse candidates. Your passion has shown through the work that you've done as co-chair of COMTO's National Scholars Program. Based on your personal and professional experience, in what ways can we as women influence the next generation of transportation professionals?
First off, thank you. Thank you for hosting me, and thank everyone for coming today. I think, I might be so bold as to extend the President's initiative and say that I am my sister's keeper. So, I am my sister's keeper. And so, I'd like to first say that, if you have a passion about transportation, if you live in any community around the world, what we have in common is the transportation industry. And so whether or not you have a passion for government, whether you have a passion for the public or private sector, whether you have a passion for law, whether you have a passion for engineering, it doesn't matter, that you can find a path for yourself in transportation. So first off, I want to say that wherever your passions are, you can find your way here. The next thing is that, as a leader and as a woman leader, we can't separate our personal and professional lives. What I mean by that is that we have to be a genuine leader. And in order to be a genuine leader, you have to show up as yourself each and every day. And I think that's what attracts people to this industry. What I find my success to be is that I tell the truth in sometimes in not so easy situation, but it enables people to understand who they are and where they need to go. I've had the fortune of being both in healthcare and now in the transportation industry, and I find that what's similar about that is that it really does move a nation, whether or not you're healing people or whether or not you're moving people, but the commonalities are the same. And so I had the pleasure of talking to Shirley. Last week, and one of the things I wanted to find out from her is, what did you want to be when you grow up? And she told me I didn't know. She said, I didn't really know. All I wanted to do was to affect change and to help people. And what I know I have in common with Shirley is that's exactly what I want to do, is affect change and help people. And so I say to young women, throw away the labels of what you think you might want to be when you grow up, and focus on your passion. Focus on whatever that is, and that will bring you great success and joy in your life. And that's what I found brings great success and joy in my life. So I want to just say that I'm pleased to be here with all of these wonderful honorees. Again, it doesn't matter what your passions or goals are in life. You can see that you can find a way here in the transportation industry. I do have to thank a few people too. I do have my mom and mother-in-law and husband and daughter in the audience. And so I just shoulders that I stand on. I have my Parsons Breakerhoff family here, and we truly are an organization that inspires people. We have teams that inspires the world's best transportation products around the world. I also like to thank the Scholars and Scholarship Committee. Without you, we couldn't provide the type of scholarships and opportunities not only to young men but young women around the world. And then I also like to thank Shirley. Shirley, you know that I'm passionate about leading people. I'm passionate about helping people grow and develop, and I know that I'm standing on big shoulders when I do that, so I thank you. And last but not least, Miss Julie Cunningham. Where are you, Julie? Miss Julie Cunningham is truly a woman who moves the nation, and what we have to know each and every day is that we learn from each other and we stand on each other's shoulders, and those are tremendous shoulders that we all stand on, so I thank you, Shirley. So I thank you all for being here. I want you all to remember that we are our sister's keeper, and keep keeping on, so thank you.
It's okay, nothing bad's gonna happen, I promise. I'll stay close, okay, all right. Cliff, Evie? Can you join us upstairs?
With the Whole Foods bag.
Excuse me, a little slow, I was waiting for the music. Well, Tracy, we're so proud of you, and what I'd like to do is I have well, I was told that our speaker this morning, our planned speaker, planned to bring 6 in our entourage, but I wasn't able to do that. But I just wanted to compare our entourage. So the Parsons Breakerhoff people could stand up in the room. So tremendous support from Parsons Breakerhoff, and also your family. Please stand up as well, just to be recognized. So proud of your wife, your daughter, your mother, especially to receive this award before Reverend Jackson, Secretary Mineta, and other dignitaries that are in the room. So my wife always told me that if I wanted to kiss somebody in public, I had to provide flowers. But it's just not for Tracy. My other girlfriend on the stage. But one time I was saying, the staff came to me and we were told that Tracy was going to receive this award. They asked if we enhance our sponsorship for this breakfast. And I said, well, of course. And I thought about it for a while. I said, that the commercial came to mind was a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and the corollary, a waste is a terrible thing to mind. So rather than have caviar with your eggs this morning, what I'd like to do is present this letter to Julie Cunningham, expressing our intent to increase our scholarships to COMTO. Currently, Parsons Breakerhoff has 3 scholarships, 2 for undergraduates, 1 for high school, and on behalf of Tracy, what we'd like to do is increase that for a 4th scholarship, this being for a graduate student in transportation. there.
Congratulations.
We're so proud.
That, I think we can do that. All right, how about another round of applause for our honorees? Okay, one more thing we need to do before we leave. Mr. Bob Prince and Julie Cunningham, will you?
How about giving a wonderful round of applause to Ms. Karen King? Come on, give it the best of luck. How many of you are going to watch this work from now on? Oh, you already knew. One of her national statute that won't let you write them a check. That's the case. And so, we found out, we said, what can we do? And her publicist told us that she loves fresh cut flowers. And so we just wanted to give you a small token of our appreciation and thank you. And we watch you every Saturday. I know Renee. So thank you so much for a wonderful job. Thank you.
And now we'd like to bring up the Reverend Jesse Jackson for a final word.
Does this still work? Let me express my thanks to you today for, first of all, honoring these tremendous women. Give them another big, big round of applause. Second, I'm running off hurriedly because this past Sunday, for the 49th time, we marched across the bridge to Selma, Alabama for the right to vote. A friend, without sounding alarmist, but it is an alarm, our right to vote is in great jeopardy. The Supreme Court ruled Section 4 was out of order. They left us to call without the key. And that allowed, in North Carolina, for example, for them to do what? To move precincts from college campuses, to change early day voting, and allow them in Florida and the like to do the same thing. If we by chance lose any more ground, we're back to pre-1965. We've come too far to go back, and we've accomplished too much to take it for granted, because you can go back. We did have a reconstruction in 1865. We did go back in 1896. We can go back. So we have to go forward by hope and not backwards by fear. We need your support. I want to thank you for allowing me to make this appeal. On your tables are rainbow push envelopes. I'm running off hurriedly because the caravan that left Selma, Alabama Sunday afternoon arriving in a few minutes at the Union Station. And we're marching to the Supreme Court today and on to Congress. I'm running real fast. I really want to make this appeal to you to please aid join Rainbow Push today. Some of you can give $100 or more. So you give a whole train time. But we need your support. One of my most painful experiences with Dr. King, I guess 3 occasions, we adore him now and give him statues and all that. To watch him have to run around the country begging for $35,000 to make payroll. We have a way of loving martyrs but not martyrs. This fight is real, it's not past, it's real stuff. I want you to consider taking your envelope now, if you will, and fill it out, fill it up. Those who will do that, turn it into Julie for me, because I must make a mad dash to meet the march that's now open at the Union Station. we really need your support. And we're facing an uphill battle when there's an attack on food stamps, keeps the farmer and the trucker and the store and the hungry. When there is an attack on Medicare and Medicaid, where shall people go? If they go, then they can't afford to ride transportation. They're not riding, then you can't afford to come back here. We're all inextricably bound, but we need your support. And I want to ask you last time, I remember was one that I kept looking at you. I had one with Jesse moments I couldn't give a second, but Manetta we have our hands full this year, and we've made a great leap forward the last 6 years, but it doesn't have to stay that way. Please, please don't take it for granted. Shall we stand and join hands and have prayer together, shall we? Julie? Those who will be come forward, those who will be supported, I would love to stay and shake hands, take pictures of the clock and the light, and let our motion on it. I really got to catch the caravan. But I want us to thank God for the mothers and marchers who made this day possible, and that they might go forward. We have done a marvelous thing. We learn to survive apart by race, by gender, by religion. But we have a harder task, but a more glorious one, learning to live together, even greater than surviving apart. Accept our petition to God. Forgive us for our sins and the foolishness of our ways. Make us better, not bitter. Go deep into our hearts where it's dark and we seldom travel ourselves. Let in the hatred, jealousy, and malice, and meanness in us. Take it out now and make us a stronger, more fit person for kingdom building. Forgive us the gifts to provide transportation to give people access to hospitals, to schools, to homes, places for growth of our nation. We might be able to moves in the right direction for all of our people. Amen. Those who want to give me a lot of love, please bring it to you.
That's right. There are a few lucky individuals who have a star on the back of their badge. You are the lucky recipients of Maya Angelou's book, Mom and